shitty day. I haven't laughed this much in a long time. My abs are starting to get sore. I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, what happened?
Damn. I don't even need
How
to go
out
to
of
the gym.
shape are you? Oh, I laughed yesterday. My abs are killing me. Oh, goodness.
So, what do you want to talk about today, bro?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of...
We should
whatever.
do a little brainstorm session real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how's life? What you up to?
Dude, honestly, after my dog got attacked
By the dog that lives upstairs.
He was maimed. And just a second ago, he tried to walk underneath the camera with his cone on, and it was
You can't see anything.
pretty funny, no peripheral. But poor guy had his leg stitched up and stapled and stuff, and so I'll tell you what, my bank account's not happy. I'm personally happy, but yeah, there's definitely a little tinge of.
Did you hate that?
Oh man, I just
like I want to save my dog, but I mean, how much is it gonna be?
can't do that. And the best part is, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get my insurance after the fact, and that'll work, right? Hey, just an adult lesson for all you out there: it doesn't fucking work. You have to have your insurance before something happens. That's why it's called insurance.
Is that how that works?
Yes. So in case you were not fully aware of how that works, that's how it works.
That's funny. Yeah, it's hard though. It's hard taking your dog to the vet. Nobody wants to have to do that. Dude, that's your baby, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not having kids, but my dog is my world.
You're not having kids?
No, hell no.
Like ever?
No. Are you?
I mean, I would like to have some kids someday.
It's not my vibe, man.
I'm
too selfish for that.
I mean,
you know that. I mean, come on.
I feel like you'd be a good dad.
That has nothing to do with it.
Okay, that's fair.
Just because
it's like a lifestyle
Just because
choice.
I could potentially be a good dad doesn't mean I'm going to be a dad.
That's true. I mean, would you like? Is it just the fact that you don't want to like raise? Like, would you adopt like a 12-year-old and like give them a good life? Or
Hey,
like,
I want that one. It's already fucked up. Let me see if I can fix it. No, I don't know. I have this vision.
Wow.
I have this vision. I have this absurd vision of me, like after I've made some money in my like 60s, 70s, just tanning by the pool with a little bunch of munchkins running around while I'm puffing on a cigar. For some reason, I just have this like vision of that.
Wait, so there's munchkins running around,
So,
but you
like,
don't have
yeah,
kids?
yeah,
So
no,
where are these munchkins coming from?
No, that's my vision. It's like, yeah, maybe when I make a bunch of money,
Then you'll have kids.
I'll adopt
She'll
a
be
couple
like,
kids.
oh, you'll adopt.
Oh, yeah.
So once you're like 60 and old,
And
then you'll-
old, just super,
they're just. So I had
just Trump tan, or not Trump orange, like tans, like Fabio tan, like just
like super white eyelids,
skin cancer with a gold chain, puffing on a cigar, drinking a whiskey by the pool.
Fuck it off, kids. Bring them in. It's fine. I got 16 extra bedrooms. Might as well.
I mean, I think that would be amazing.
Did you take the kids for a walk today?
No, I've got people to do that for me.
Yeah. Oh my god. I definitely want to have kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily like soon. The thing for me is like I would like to be, like you said,
stable.
well off.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it happens before I'm 60. I'm hoping that 5-10 years in the future.
So you don't think like right when you turn 60, a bunch of money just falls into your bank account?
That not anymore. Maybe like back in the day when you
Yeah.
were working. Oh yeah, 401k retirement. Let's go. Now we're like, hey, I've got 3 of those,
Yeah.
and I still
Gonna
am
see
like
none of that money.
cannot pay for my
Survive.
groceries.
Yeah.
So mac and cheese, ramen. That's the food for me.
That hood rich.
Nutritional. I'll tell you what. Everybody likes pasta.
I've been going to the
Give me
gym
those
for
carbs.
I've been going to the gym for 3 weeks. You haven't put on any weight. No, because all I eat is ramen noodles and hot dogs.
That's the life. This is starving artist.
Oh.
It's emphasis on the starving.
It's so true, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the worst.
Yeah. The other worst part about that too is like when you get like down and all in the shits and you're like, you start starving yourself of your own music.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's been happening to me recently. Is I'm like, that's another reason why I'm like, oh, I got this financial woes that are happening, but I also have been in like a creative rut recently that's been pissing me off so much.
It's extremely frustrating. I've had it happen so many times. I mean, that's just like being an artist, though. Fighting with that inner ego. thinking that what you're making isn't good enough, even though it is. But it's just you battling
there's
with
billions of people on the planet,
yourself.
and there's only one of you, and so nobody's making the same shit that you're making. But then you get on fucking TikTok or you get on something else. Check them out. No.
I thought I had a good idea, but
like, I'm gonna make a song. Okay, now I'm gonna go watch a $5 million produced music video from freaking some rap artist, and I'm
DJ
just gonna
Khaled.
feel like shit about myself. Like, oh, here's my home production with me and my
can't-
friends in the backyard.
you can't do that.
No, you can't.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. I mean,
That's art.
today we came up with an idea for a video that was hilarious,
it is.
and we filmed it on the phone, and added music to it. I mean, you don't need much to make something funny. I mean, I think no matter
the
how
vibe of it.
it's the substance. It's
Yeah.
that's always gonna shine through,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You have all these kids who are freaking savants behind the computer writing insane music or doing art or whatever, and just because they don't have like the business or marketing side of it, doesn't mean that they're not amazing. And it sucks because those kids, those are the kids that don't get found. You have huge artists that are obnoxious. They don't even write their own music, and it's just because they have a freaking team behind them.
And their 808 slap.
And somebody else is making their music. They're the ones who are, it's a team effort, always, but it sucks, dude. You have the kids who are super business savvy, and they take their music way farther than the kids who are actually talented, but they don't know how to put their music or their art in front of other people.
It's true.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's hard to not have a team.
Oh man, I've watched kids go down and just like struggle over and over again, because they just don't understand the business side of, because being an artist is a business. It's unfortunately it's not just art. It's so much more than that. You have to, there's so much more that goes into,
It's networking is what it really is.
Yeah.
That's 90% of it.
That's what I used to do in LA, dude. Spend 10 to 12 hours in the studio every day writing music,
and then going to the venue,
going to the club,
meeting the people
backstage,
that are doing it,
shaking hands. People are like, oh, LA was such a dream, huh? You just partied the whole time. Like, when I was in the club, I wasn't drinking. I was drinking a water, and I was shaking hands and getting email addresses.
Because it's not going to get you up on stage, being sloppy drunk and walking up to your favorite artist like, oh, hey, you should put me on, bro. That's not going to get you anywhere. Like,
you want to get 86? That's
8 whiskeys deep. Okay, now I have the confidence to go up and talk to my hero. Like, no.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, since I've been here for what? It's been almost a month.
Time flies, bro.
Holy shit.
Time flies.
I mean, the first week I was here, I went out to the club with a couple of friends, and I went and met the people who were opening at the club and made contacts, and that's how you have to do it. In Colorado, I got my fingers spread out through a bunch of different things, but out here, it's refreshing to have a new start, but it's also daunting because it's like, dude, I have to literally put in all this work again, and I have to go out and make contacts. I don't want to be in the club, dude. Get me the hell out of there. Like, unless I'm with my friends and that's the point. Like, I don't want to be in there, dude. I don't want to be doing, hanging out like with a bunch of kids rolling it. Like, I'm gonna pass, dog. But to make the contacts, to get those gigs, to put yourself out there, that's what you have to do.
You got to show up.
You got to show up and show out. That's the thing.
That's the other thing too. That like people get on the whole social media thing and like the posting of the videos, and thinking that is enough, and that's gonna get you where you want to go. And it's like it's one thing to post videos and do all this stuff and go to the club and try to meet these people and put in your work every single day. It's another thing to like make a video and post it and then sit and wait and think that that's gonna be enough, because it's not.
It's not.
It's just not.
And it sucks that it's not. It sucks that the art doesn't just speak for itself. But
if you're not willing to speak for your own art in every facet of the art community, not just online, getting out into the actual world where the art is being presented and present your art and stand behind it. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like you're not that like 0.5% of artists that upload something and somehow it goes viral and it just takes off. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. It happens.
You can get lucky.
You can, but
lucky doesn't describe it.
No.
Because it's not. That's way beyond luck. That is like you just like seriously became the king of England when they drew your name from a hat of like a billion people.
Yeah.
Like it just does not.
It's absurd how that works. It's like,
maybe
crazy. One day that'll be. It's not going to ever be you.
Yeah.
You've got to put in that work.
Right.
And I mean, dude, that's the worst part about being an artist. Going to work, coming home, going back to work. That's what you do. It's the work after the work that matters. And
but at the same time, it's also kind of comforting, because it's when you're like when you're riding on that lotto ticket, stressful as fuck.
Yeah.
But if you know that if you just put in the work, like you're already doing probably because you have a day job, so you're already putting in 8 hours. You can put in 8 hours into something. It might not be something that you like, but you can get that same mindset and do it for the thing that you actually like and put it in every single day. You will go somewhere.
Yeah.
And just being okay with that and being like, seeing where it leads you.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is like, you know, you have all these kids that are like, they want it right now. It's like, oh, I'm going to write a song, I'm going to put it out, and it's going to fucking pop off.
That's our generation.
And it's going to happen right now. It's like, dude, that's not how it works, dog.
Yeah.
You have to understand, like, these kids, these huge artists, they've been doing it forever. They've been grinding every single day.
Yeah.
Repetitive, doing the same shit over and over and over again. And just because, you know, they're successful in their careers now doesn't mean it was like that. They didn't just spawn out of the ground a superstar.
They're like, these business. Today I think I'm gonna make a song. Have you ever made music before? No, I don't think so.
I feel like becoming famous.
Rap. I think I could rap. Yo, boom it. Yo, put on a beat, bro. Come here. Let's do this. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Blow up.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah. Multi-million, billion-dollar companies just popping up out of the ground.
I told you I could do it. Like, no. You're going to suffer and cry alone in your room for many nights. And then you're going to have to wake the fuck up the next day and be like, no, fuck that. I'm mad at myself for even feeling like that. I can do this. I'm good enough. And you're going to get your ass up and you're going to go to fucking work because you have to.
And that's the thing. You get it. I'm sure you get it all the time. Like, you know, I'm not a successful artist, you know. You know, but I have friends and you know, people around me that are like, dude, why aren't you famous yet? You're so talented. It's like, thank you, I really appreciate that. And you know, I may or may not be talented, but that's not all it fucking takes. Like I need more, dude. I've been doing this. I've been freaking writing music forever, and it's like, dude, life happens too, you know. And that's the worst part about being an artist. If I could focus my whole time, every ounce of my energy on my career as a musician, I would, but I don't get to.
Yeah.
Money doesn't fall out of the fucking sky.
No.
So,
and for those of you out there that have trust funds, you better be you're blessed. Okay?
You want to share a little bit?
Enjoy that. Maybe pass the around. I'm not about that, you know. I'm not that redistribution shit or whatever, but you know, it's there comfort of your heart, warm me up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
But I do it. I mean, also the other part of this too, like on a more serious note, is like you say like life happens. Also, it's very easy for an artist to go from like that black to white thing where you're like,
I do it all the time.
I go and I do an open mic or I do this thing and like something really great happens and it like spawns this creativity and this energy that I can use to like fuel my future creativity until I hit the valley of it. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Okay, it's not so great. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like shit. Oh my God, I'm the worst artist in the world. I should probably give up music.
I should go back to college. What is happening?
Yeah, but nobody's told me I'm great. Nobody liked my post in like 3 days.
That's the thing. The peak of that feeling is why I write music.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel good and I fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people, including myself, forget. I forget why I'm writing music in the first place. You know, because you're so stressed out about making it a career, making it, being good enough, being, you know, something that people want. And you always have to bring yourself back to, you know, hey, I do this because I like it.
Yeah.
You know, and I love it. And it's something I'm always going to do. And you have to like decompose yourself. Like you got to get out of all that stress and the weight of feeling like, you know, I have to do this, have to do that, and just vibe. And there's a quote from Riff Raff, you know, the rapper. He's so obnoxious, but he said something in an interview that I was looking at one time. It's been years, but somebody asked him, you know, like, you know, you can you know, you can write music with all these artists. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, so why don't you? And he's like, I can collab with any big name artists in you know, in the industry that I want. But if we get in the studio and I'm not having a good time and it's not fun, then I'm not about it. And he's like, I write music and I create because I enjoy it and because it's fun for me.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me because, you know, in my valleys and my peaks, in between my valleys and my peaks, you know, when I find myself writing the best music or, you know, feeling good about myself and what I do is when I'm happy, and the music just flows out of me when I'm having fun. And so I carry that with me all the time, you know, is at the end of the day, whether it becomes a career or, you know, or not, I'm still going to come home and create, you know, whether it's through music or comedy videos or a podcast with my buddy, you know, like.
Even if you did blow up and you got all the success that you could ever want, you got all the money you could ever need, you're still going to want to go home at the end of the day and write music.
Because I do it for a reason, you know? And
Yoda said it very well. He was like, what did he say? He was like, always focused on the past or the future, never where he was. What he was doing.
Is that how he said it?
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, I just watched like all the Star Wars movies. But
I know, I've been watching you watch all Star Wars.
You can, you're like right there. You can probably hear it all.
Star Wars again? Jesus.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah. But oh god, not to get off track here, but that one scene when Anakin cuts off Mace Windu's arm. That's got to be the funniest thing in the world when the Emperor's like, now you will die. Fucking love that shit.
It's so funny because growing up, episode 1, 2, and 3 were just iconic to me. And going back and watching them, I'm like, what the fuck is this garbage?
Are you serious? I love it. I love it so much.
This is the cheesiest.
I fight with the guy at work.
This is the cheesiest.
Every day.
This is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen. Okay, I mean, obviously it holds a special place in my heart, but like, come on. I'm like,
the Phantom Menace in general.
So blind. Like, how is this popular?
What a world we live in.
I know, it's amazing.
But the sentiment behind that is really, it really is like important to me. That's something that, I mean, I really get into philosophy a lot. Alan Watts is one of my biggest philosophy inspirations. When I was driving across the country in my van, I didn't know where I was going to go. I put on Alan Watts and I just listened to hour after hour after hour of philosophy. And I was like, just thinking to myself, like, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to become? And what is this? And like the main thing that I got out of it, out of all those hours, is like, live right now.
Yeah.
And let the shit that is holding you back from the past that you don't like, or any of that weird energy that is dragging you down or holding you back, just let that shit go. And don't focus on the fear of what could be coming your way in the future. And just have fun right now with the people that are around you. And that to me is like the number one thing that I need to live by.
Yeah.
Just, like,
I mean, and you know, the worst part about it, some people would call it ignorant. Being ignorant is like, in
a certain point of view, it is.
You're just living in the moment, you know, like you don't care about blah, 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 you know. It's
you're going to spend all your money and you're going to do it. You know what? Well, if I live my fullest life and I die with a dime in my fucking bank account, and I just
happy.
I'd rather die with a dime in my bank account than die with $1 million in there that I never touched.
Yeah.
And that I kept hidden away for some future event that's never going to happen.
I completely agree.
You know,
I mean,
I'd still like to have $1 million.
Please?
That would be nice. But like, that's not wealth to me. Wealth is not money. Wealth is like friendships and the love that I have for the people that are around me, and like the fullness of my life and what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, not the amount that's in my bank account.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I've had this discussion with, you know, seems like a million different people. You know, the definition of success. You know, everybody's definition is different.
It's broad spectrum.
Oh, it's so broad. It's like, just because your definition of success is to go out, make a bunch of money, and have a bunch of material things, doesn't mean that's mine, and that doesn't mean I'm different than you or you're any more or less successful than I am.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, is it shouldn't put you in a category, you know, like, oh, he lives in his van with his dog with nothing. Yeah. Oh, I'm more successful than him because I'm driving a Lambo.
And you know what?
Nah.
You are in your perspective.
In your own perspective, of course.
And not being able to recognize that is ignorant.
I mean, and
that's the ignorant
That's
part.
the thing, dude. You wanna work a 9 to 5, go home, get stoned, and play video games all day.
Do you, baby?
If that's what you want to do, and that's what makes you happy, nobody has a right to tell you that you're living your life the wrong way or you're never gonna be something. If that's what makes you happy, go for it.
And that doesn't mean that the next day somebody couldn't say something to you that might make you change your mind on what success is to you. Because that's the beautiful thing about being a human being is the freedom to choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that is true wealth, is being able to, on the drop of a dime, to say, you know what? I'm not happy where I am, and I want to try to pursue something else and chase a different dream. Like that, that to me is so beautiful. Yeah. It's crazy.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And that also comes back to us. That's why we struggle as artists.
Yeah.
It's like, exactly. I want something so bad.
Yeah.
Because I have the freedom to pursue this thing, that is art. And it just ruins me every damn day.
Your career? What are you doing with your life?
I just want to, can I just have fun? Just play my music? And then, no, you can't. Get in bed. And be sad about your circumstances. Get off of me. Freaking, what is it? That show Big Mouth? They have the depression kitty on there, dude. Like, oh, it's so real. It's so real.
I love that show.
All right, now come. It's fine. Just lay down.
You don't need to go anywhere today. Just put on Netflix and lay down. Like, that's God. No.
Drown yourself in your tears.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have those days a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And the easiest way for me to not get into that funk is waking up early. And
yes,
dude, the mornings where we wake up early and we're around the coffee pot in the kitchen.
Those are good days,
dude. My favorite days, because our brain's firing on all cylinders and we're talking. You're getting social interaction early, and then, dude, we're brainstorming. Yeah, that's what I love about living in this house is,
David's in the kitchen after we just filmed a video with his guitar, just belting his heart out.
We live. It's like an artist commune. In this house.
It is
what it is.
Yeah,
and it's amazing because that morning cup of Joe, standing out on the porch, just brainstorming, laughing, doing whatever. That's how podcasts get started. That's how funny videos get recorded. That's how music is made. And
it's funny, too. It's such a split-second thing, especially for me. Like, I'll wake up in the morning, and I'll be like, okay, I know I don't want to get up. Like, I don't want to. And, like, but if you just, like, I'm fucking up. If you just, like, get over that feeling, it takes 3 seconds. Yeah. And then it's gone.
Yeah. Because
you get in the shower, you do your thing.
Yeah. Like, if you wallow in the sorrow that is, depression and, well, I guess it's not as easy as that. Obviously, everybody, deals with their own things differently. But, what helps me is if I sit around and lay in bed all day, I'm going to feel like shit all day.
It's Newton's law.
And yeah, it's a law of attraction.
An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion.
And that's why those 5 minutes it takes me to roll out of bed, make my bed. My dad... was like, dude, start your day off making your bed every morning, and that's gonna kickstart you, And I started applying that to my everyday life, especially since I've been out here. I don't have any of my stuff moved out from Colorado yet, but so that makes me feel in limbo still, even though I'm not.
You're in two places at once.
And that feeling, I hate that feeling. Yeah. But waking up, make sure my clothes are hanged up. And what I have in my room is organized the way I like it, and my bed's made. That gives me a sense of stability that helps me launch my day off. And
for sure,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that that's how I try and get myself out of that funk. Or like those sad days. I'm an emotional person.
Dude. Dude. I'm the same way. And I have to make my bed every morning. Yeah. That's one of the things like. If I don't do anything else, I made my bed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have that. I have that win for the rest of the day. And it seems so juvenile, and
Yeah.
it seems like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But there's something about like completing things, like completing goals. Like that's something that I've learned from every mentor that I've ever had is keeping a list. Keep a
Yeah.
daily list and keep a weekly list and then keep a monthly list and then
Yeah.
keep a yearly list.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. You start with a yearly list. What do I want to get done this year?
Yeah.
Like maybe in January. Everybody laughs and jokes about it because they're doing their New Year's resolution or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what that is. You
Yeah.
have these goals, and then how do you want to reach those goals?
Yeah.
That's your monthly list. And then the little things that you have to do for like during the week and during the day, like those little things are so crucial to me when I actually do it. When I
Yeah.
actually write them out and I start crossing that shit off of my list,
Yeah.
it's amazing the feeling that it gives me because I'm accomplishing things that are they might be small goals,
Yeah.
like work out today or make sure that you take the dog to the park,
Yeah.
or those little things that you can like easily shrug off if you don't have a way of like keeping yourself accountable for them. But those things are so important to build your confidence throughout the day,
Yeah.
the week, the month, and by the end of the year you'd be so surprised with how much you can get done if you stay
Yeah.
focused on that and track it out.
Small little goals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we kind of started with the podcast,
Absolutely.
And is like, one, let's see if we can do this. Two, all right, so we can do this. This is something we can do, right? Three, how do we make it better?
Yeah.
How can we make this a full production, video, audio, a brand, and just setting these small goals. We wanted to have, more than one podcast recorded before we released one.
Yeah.
We're on our second episode and we're going to start releasing. So we're hitting these tiny goals, which
Yes,
makes
we
it,
are.
it makes it, if you set a super high goal for yourself, you stress about like reaching that goal.
For sure.
But if you set small intervals and these small goals, it's like climbing a ladder. You're not going to just jump to the top.
Yeah.
If you, it seems so far away, but if you give yourself, these tiny little steps, it'll lead you to a point that you want to be in.
Yeah.
And, doing that in any aspect of your life, you want to get fit, working out, works amazing. All these different things, I do it with my art. Today I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get at least 2 or 3 ideas out in my computer, in my DAW, and whether they're full blown songs or not, hitting that goal, okay, awesome. I have these ideas. At least, I'm moving. At least I'm making progress.
It makes it more
something.
feasible
Yeah.
to accomplish because you're not like, I'm going to write my album today. Like you can't do that. Like you have to start with like very small things. Like, and I do very similar things where I'll set up like my basic setup with my 1 Digitech loop pedal and a bass guitar and my mic. And I'll sit there and I'll just, la la da 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 until I find something that I like, make a little loop, and then before I know it, I've got drums on there, and then I have like a little hook written.
And you're having
And
fun,
then I'm
and
having
it feels
fun.
good, and you're not worried about,
Exactly.
banging out a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, if I sit down to write with like certain expectations for myself, I never write anything.
Exactly.
And I'm stressed and I hate it and it gets tedious and I have a horrible time. If I sit down with no expectations of what I'm writing today, what kind of song it's going to be, how I want it to sound, and I just start flowing and going, that's when fast forward 2 hours later, I'm in my studio dancing.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
Making a banger. And
because you went into it with the right mindset.
yeah, and
So important.
I that's what I like to tell. I get a lot of people. Let's write music together. Blah blah blah. I'd love to get in the studio with you. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I do. I'm always in there writing, and like if you want to work with me, like let's sit down.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, what kind of stuff we're gonna
You're
make?
like, no,
I'm like,
no.
leave that at the door, dog. Let's come in.
You take everything you know, I'll take everything I know, and we'll just start pressing buttons.
Let's just whatever happens,
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, you have these artists that they're like, I want to make this type of music only, and then they stress themselves out and like they feel confined to this box. It's like, dude, just freaking create. And I did that to myself for 7 years. I was like, I want to write only dubstep, and this is what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be a dubstep artist, and then, it started to be. It ended up not being fun for me. I was like, I'd sit down with expectations of like, I have to be this good, and these are how my shit's supposed to sound, and I just didn't have fun writing music. Stuff I created, but it was forced, and it was stuff that I end up hating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the beginning of last year, I started writing, again, and I just was like, I'm gonna write whatever.
Yeah.
And I started writing more.
Take the limits off.
I threw away the whole genre bullshit, and I just started writing, and it gave me energy, and I've had the most fun I have had writing music in a long time.
Yeah.
And it lit a fire under my ass, and I'm loving it. So
yeah.
You want to do story time?
I mean, I think you should tell them, because I think that people need to know this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get out of that situation? Like, what's the
Okay,
fix for that?
I'll do story time this time, but you have to do it next time.
I mean,
I've done it twice now.
Fine.
Okay, so this is not going to be very long, but I've been meaning to tell you this because it's absolutely hilarious.
So worth it.
So today on my way back home from running some errands, I'm on the highway, and I see this Tesla pulled over to the side of the road, and I'm like, oh, somebody's Tesla broke down. You never really see that. I've never seen a Tesla on the side of the road.
Well, it's so new. Why would it break down? Change a tire on my Tesla.
So I see this Tesla, and I see a truck behind it, and I realize it's an electrician's truck. And so I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I get parallel, from the Tesla and the truck, and I'm looking over, and I see the Tesla, and it's plugged in to a gas generator on the side of the road, and there's an electrician with his truck parked behind it, and I fucking lost it. That was the funniest thing I've seen all week, and I was just like,
you just can't get away from petroleum, man.
I was like, what the fuck, dude? It's like,
that should be a freaking.
What happened? I don't have a charge.
That's the new BP commercial. When you're driving across the country and your Tesla runs out of juice, BP is there for you.
AAA, we now carry generators in case your fucking Tesla breaks down.
There's so many things wrong with that. It's like
I wish I would have snapped a picture because
please next time,
dude, I was laughing so hard it was freaking hilarious.
There should be small scale, 10 horsepower gas generators in every Tesla. Just in case, instead of your
freaking hilarious.
Your regular stuff that you have in your car. That's what you should have.
I was losing it.
Oh my god.
It was funny. I was like, that's freaking amazing.
It's gold. It's gold.
Meme gold right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That was my short but sweet.
Oh my god.
It's story time.
It's great.
Cool. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up on that one. Yeah.
Dude, I think we're ready to wrap up, but there is a shout out that needs to happen.
True. So we just got our logo designed by that boy Skylar from Colorado. Huge shout out, bro. We miss you. I love you.
Seasoned it.
You can get him on Instagram at Special Skylar. And then the music that you hear leading into the podcast, and we're gonna drop a little outro for you, is a song off of Cybergoth Dance Party. Skylar's a part of that, and our buddy Jobin's also a part of that. Yeah, it's awesome. I love
Cybergoth
it.
Dance
So we're gonna
Party,
preview one of their tracks from their debut album that actually drops. What is it? The 28th of this month. So yeah, go peep it. And
definitely.
Yeah, super excited to hear that full length album. And we're gonna give you a little preview. So on that note, I'm Rylan. This is John.
I'm Rylan. I mean, it's Freaky Friday. I'm John.
And I'm Rylan. And
this is No Prescription.
No Prescription.